I hope you're well and having a really lovely day today, and welcome to a pin trading Disney video. I mentioned pin trading, I think, in a Disney haul and kind of talked about my love of pins. I asked if you guys wanted a pin video and most of you said yes. Actually, quite a lot of you said yes. So I'm going to talk about pin trading today. I'm by no means an expert. These are just a few tips and kind of the rules that I'm kind of aware of, and then I'm going to show you my collection. I do want to just say I'm really sorry if you see my arm because I burnt myself quite badly the other day and it's really scarring and scabby, so if you see that on my arm, that's what it is, don't worry about it. But yes, I'm going to talk to you about pin trading and show you my collection. It's where you buy, collect, sell, swap, trade, whatever you want, pins from Disney. Disney pins, you will know if they're a Disney pin because on the back it says Disney with a little copyright. What you're looking for on a pin is the C Disney logo, just to kind of give you that certification that it is a genuine Disney pin. Most Disney pins will have a lot of information on the back of them now, like this one which says 2015 and Disneyland Paris. It is a great way to show off your kind of personal style in a way, your favourite films, favourite characters, to show off what you love about Disney, because a lot of people collect certain things that they're passionate about. For example, it might be no surprise if you know me that I collect Beauty and the Beast pins. It's also a really great way to interact and meet new people, especially in the parks, because you will meet a lot of cast members. If you're looking to trade pins, you can just go up to them and spark a conversation. It's a really good conversation starter, and there's also like a huge community of pin trading, pin traders, and everything you could wish for online. So it's a really great way to meet new people. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of pins. There's also different types of pins, characters, attraction related, hotel related, general Disney, just so many. There's hidden Mickey style pins, they do limited edition ones, they do pins for special events, seasonal, years, pretty much everything. I would suggest if you're looking to get into pin trading, maybe kind of think about what you want to collect. I did this when I started because I do have an addictive personality, so I know that I have to kind of limit myself to only kind of get certain pins. I mean, if I see a pin that's kind of not in what I collect and I really like it, I wouldn't stop myself from getting it, but I know what I collect and I kind of stick to that area just so I don't spend all of my money on pins, because you really easily could. So talking about kind of pin trading within the Disney parks community, because I'm not really involved in stuff that happens online and buying pins online and that kind of stuff, but you can trade pins in the park with guests. You could go up to a guest that's wearing pins and ask them, but that's not something I personally do. I like to stick with trading with cast members, so that's what I'm going to really talk about here. However, with guests, there's pretty much not really any rules because it will all be down to you and that person and kind of how you're deciding to do things. But this is all from trading with a cast member. So the steps to trade with a cast member are very simple. Just go up to a cast member that is wearing a pin lanyard. Sometimes they have pin kind of pouches on. You'll notice quite easily the cast members that you can pin trade with because they one typically wearing a lanyard full of pins, or they'll have a bag on their side with pins. They're quite easy to spot, and most cast members, not like attractions or characters etc, but most kind of other cast members do have them. Second, ask to see their pins. Never touch their lanyard or pull on their lanyard or touch their pins. Always say hello, introduce yourself and say, please can I see your pins. So once you've asked to see their pins, if you see one that you like, you can just ask to trade for it, and that is basically it. There are some rules that come with this though, so I'll talk you through those as well so you know kind of what you can and can't do. So if you are trading a pin, you must make sure that that pin is a Disney official pin. It has the little copyright Disney wording on the back. The pin must also be genuine, obviously no fake pins are accepted, and it must be in good tradable condition. You can only trade one pin at a time just to kind of make it easy and safe, because obviously they're pins, they're sharp and pointy. I've stabbed myself many a time. And you can trade with a cast member twice for 2 pins a day. So with one cast member you can do 2 pins with them, with another cast member you could do 2 with them, for example. So it's a maximum of 2 pins per cast member per day. As I said, always ask to see a cast member's lanyard, but it's not their property. The lanyard they're wearing is part of their uniform. They don't own those pins, so you get to pick the pin you want and you get to pick the pin that you give them. However, you cannot give the cast member one of your pins if they already have it on their lanyard. Like I said, if you see a cast member wearing a lanyard or one of those pin pouches, you're free to trade with them. Just go up and have a conversation. Obviously no money can be exchanged, it's all just a pin to pin basis with cast members. As I said, it can be completely different with guests, that's like a different ballpark completely, and you have the say, so you get to pick the pin you want and what to trade for. Away from cast members, you can trade with guests. As I said, you can full on get involved in the whole pin trading community community. Disney hosts special pin trading events that you can go buy a ticket for, and there's pin trading shops. There's one in Disneyland Paris in the back of Frontierland. There's loads in Disney World. I believe pin trading takes place in all Disney parks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think it's something that happens in every Disney park. Pins come in different price groups. They come in bands, which is organised by colours. So for example, a green pin would be about $6.95 in America. Obviously prices are different in different Disney parks, but the general concept in all Disney parks is pins are divided into colour groups, and the colour they're in represents the price they cost, and you'll see it when you're looking at pins. There's always like a little colour price guide on the stand. Limited edition pins are obviously more expensive, and special pins that have like 3D things or moving things or are special in some way, where maybe if a ride is closing or it's a special event or something, they're going to be more expensive than the standard kind of character ones. To do pin trading effectively, I guess the best way to do it is to trade for a pin that's more expensive than the pin that you have. So the best way to start out would be to buy a kind of bulk set of pins. So you have some, buy them in the cheapest way possible, so you've got some to trade and start collecting the ones you want. You can buy pins online in places like eBay and Amazon in bulk. However, I personally don't endorse this. I don't think it's a good idea, because you're devaluing the pins. Firstly, if you're paying $10 for 20 pins, for example, you're kind of devaluing the price of them, if that makes sense. And also you get a lot of fake pins, and I don't think it's very good at all that people are buying fake pins and then trying to trade these on for genuine pins in the Disney park. It kind of is ruining it for everyone. So I would say please don't go online and bulk buy these pins from eBay, Amazon, etc. Stick to buying pins from Disney. You can still do it in a fairly cheap way, and then you know that what you've got is authentic and you're not increasing kind of the fake pin cycle that is happening, sadly, or not now. When I started out with pin trading, I bought a starter set. I bought a set which came with a lanyard and 4 pins on it. I'd recommend looking into any pin trading starter kits they might have. It doesn't even matter if you don't like the theme or the character, because the idea is you're going to trade them. I tend to try and buy pins that come in a group and in the cheapest way possible. So when I go to Disneyland Paris, I always end up buying this set. Normally has a 4th character, a Piglet, on it, but it's 4, and I think it's around 12 to 16 euros. I'm not 100% sure on the price. This particular set of pins with the 4th one has always been the cheapest way for me to get 4 pins to then trade on. So I like to buy sets like this. I'm not going to keep the Winnie the Pooh pins because I don't collect them, and then I've got them in my bag to trade off with cast members when I'm in parks. I'm going to talk you through my pins now, show you my collection and tell you a little bit about it. You can keep your pins in many different ways. I've seen people with cork boards where they pin their pins onto the cork boards, which I think is amazing. I've seen people kind of pin them into photograph books. There's so many different ways you can do it, but I bought a pin book from Disney World when I was there last year. This is the small version, and they do a much bigger one, which in hindsight I wish I'd got. It has a very long strap which you can adjust and make as long as you want. I just keep them in here in my room so they're safe and clean and out the way. Really like this. It's very well made, and it has the Mickey pin trading logo on there. First page of my pin book is kind of my general page. It's hard to explain. This first one is actually one of the first pins I ever bought. It is the 2015 Disneyland Paris Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey pin. I bought it on my first ever trip to Disneyland Paris. Then this year I purchased this one, which is a 2016 pin. I love that it's different. I love the contrast between the two, and this one is kind of like an ancient queen. So nice to have kind of a difference between the two. It's just, I really like that they're very different even though they're the same place. The middle pin here is the Star Tours Last Flight to Endor pin. It's a limited edition pin which came out in March of this year to commemorate the fact that the Star Tours ride in Disneyland Paris has closed for a major refurb, and the ride is changing in a massive way. I was really lucky enough to be invited by Disneyland Paris to go to the Last Flight to Endor event and go on the ride, and when I was there I actually won tickets to go on the last ride, if that makes sense. And I took my friend Steve on the ride with me. He is a massive Star Wars fan. He actually bought 2 of these pins and kindly gave me one because he knew that I didn't get time to pick one up. The last pin I have on this page is one I bought from Disney World last year. When I was there I actually couldn't find a Disney World 2016 pin anywhere, and I also couldn't find one which had all 4 parts on it, so I just went with this blue one, which is Cinderella's castle. It's very sparkly and pretty and kind of has a bit of an iridescent finish to it. So the next page is where things kind of start to get a bit crazy, and you'll see the kind of things that I'm going for here and what I like to collect. This pin here is one of the most expensive ones I own. It retailed for £35 last Christmas, but luckily I got it at about 40% off. It's a limited edition one to celebrate Christmas in Disneyland Paris last year. I love the scene in this film where they sing something there, and I have number 489 out of 600. If you've seen Dreams in Disneyland Paris, you'll know that there is a Beauty and the Beast section where they sing Be Our Guest. I bought this pin on my first ever trip to Disneyland Paris. It is Lumiere, kind of representing that scene. Just reminds me of my first trip, the first time I saw Dreams. This pin is one of my most recent, and I actually bought it off my friend Jeff. I don't have anything Mrs. Potts and Chip themed in pins, so I was really excited about this one. This was limited edition as well. I don't know when it was released because I think it is an older one, but it was 400 of them made, and this is 330. This is also a really new pin for me. My friend Claire picked this up for me from Disney World. It's new out there at the moment. I love that it's got Belle and Beast on there together in this heart connected design. Moving on to the general Belle page, this is special because she's my favourite princess. This one was one of the first ones I ever bought from Disneyland Paris. It's kind of one of their standard pins. They do this for every princess. Sparkly, but not as sparkly as this one, which I actually traded a cast member for. I'm not too sure where it's from. It might be from a set, I don't really know, but I love it. Then in Orlando last year I bought this one, which is in relation to the Belle attraction they have, the Enchanted Tales with Belle ride. This is like the magic mirror. This one I traded for in Disneyland Paris. I don't really know much about it, but it is a hidden Mickey pin. These are typically a bit rarer, I think. They don't stay around for long for you to purchase, so if you ever see a pin with a little hidden Mickey on it, they're quite good to trade for. And this one is from my friend Gemma. She really kindly gave this to me when I met her. She's a subscriber and really lovely person, and she was really kind to give this to me. This pin is beautiful. It's my Belle Rose pin. This is quite new to Disney World as well. Absolutely love it. This is one of my most favourites. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. My next page is Beast, and it looks a little sad because they don't really do many Beast pins. Both are from Disney World. This one I got last year in October. I think it's very sweet. It's from the scene where Belle and Beast do their dance. This one is a bit different. It's also from Disney World, and it shows Beast in a bit more of a Beast-like appearance, I guess, but I saw that it was released and asked if anyone would pick it up for me because they don't really do many Beast pins, so when they do I don't want to turn down the chance to get one. Next we have the Gaston page. I only have two Gaston pins. One is a standard release from Disney World, which is this one here. Last year they released this Gaston pin. They did a series of villains ones in this style, and when I saw Gaston was one, I was like, yes please. It is 700, mine is 131, and I just love it. It's from Disneyland Paris, and I bought it in their special pin trading shop in Frontierland. Lion King page, which is kind of quite empty. The only pins I have in this I got from Disney World, and they came in a set. It was a set of 4 for quite a cheap price, so it would be actually quite a good pin set to get if you were looking to get some to trade. I haven't really seen many other Lion King pins around, so I am on the hunt for some. Simba in his I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Nala, Zazu and Rafiki, 4 of the best and just greatest Lion King characters. Lion King is kind of my joint favourite film along with Beauty and the Beast. Even sadder looking page is my Chip and Dale page. I bought a Chip and Dale set of pins when I was in Orlando last year, and I kept the Chip one for myself and gave the Dale one to Chelsea, my best friend, and so Chip is just sitting on his own on this page of my book, looking like he needs a friend to give his acorn to. The last page of my pin book is very special to me, and it is the hotels page for Disney hotels I've stayed in. I've been to Disney World twice and stayed on site once, and then I've visited Disneyland Paris 5 times and stayed on site twice. I normally stay off site, but I have 2 pins for Paris, 1 for Orlando. The Paris one, the first one I got was the Hotel Cheyenne pin because that was my first trip to Paris. First hotel I stayed in. I love it. It's got Cowboy Mickey, and all the Paris hotel pins have the key, which is kind of to symbolise your room key, even though you don't get a key like that. And then in March this year I stayed in Sequoia Lodge for a night, which I loved the hotel, and I love the pin because it's got Chip and Dale on there, and Chip and Dale are in that hotel a lot. There is a lot of Chip and Dale everywhere, so they are really special, and I'm hoping to this year staying a few more Disney hotels so I can add a few more pins from Disneyland Paris. Caribbean Beach Resort. I loved this hotel so much. I knew I'd love it before I went there, but I loved it even more when I got there and saw what it was like. When I was there, they actually didn't have any Caribbean beach pins there because they were redoing them, which I was very, very sad about because it was on top of my list of things to buy. But my friend Rachel really kindly sent this to me recently, so now I do have it, and I'm very glad I do because that hotel really means a lot to me. So that is my Disney pin collection. I hope you enjoyed seeing this. I'd love to know what pins you collect if you're into pin trading, or if you haven't been into pin trading before, if you're going to get started, what you would collect. Pin trading is so much fun. I honestly love doing it. Anyone of any age can do it. It's great to do on your own, with friends, family. It's just really good fun, and I just can't wait to go pin trading on my next trip to Disney. I'm going to be asking every cast member if I can see their lanyard. If I've missed anything about pin trading that you think everyone should know, please drop it in the comments so it can be really helpful for people to have a little read through, and I really hope that this has been kind of helpful in some way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!